Good morning, morning movers. Thank you for 10 weeks of fun and games and exploration. We are wrapping up this first cycle tomorrow, and we're just sharing a few words about theater and why it's important to connect and stay connected, to create and to stay creative. And I thought that I would share with you one of my very favorite poems. It's called Why We Tell Stories by Liesl Mueller. And if you've ever taken a class with me, there's a good chance I have made you act out this poem, so it may be familiar to some Piven folks. Why We Tell Stories. Because we used to have leaves, and on damp days our muscles feel a tug, painful now, from when roots pulled us into the ground. And because our children believe they can fly, an instinct retained from when the bones in our arms were shaped like zithers and broke neatly under their feathers. And because, before we had lungs, we knew how far it was to the bottom as we floated open-eyed like painted scarves through the scenery of dreams. And because we awakened and learned to speak. 2. We sat by the fire in our caves, and because we were poor, we made up a tale about a treasure mountain that would open only for us. And because we were always defeated, we invented impossible riddles only we could solve. Monsters only we could kill. Women who could love no one else. And because we had survived. Sisters and brothers, daughters and sons, we discovered bones that rose. Bones that rose from the dark earth and sang as white birds in the trees. 3. Because the story of our life becomes our life. Because each of us tells the same story, but tells it differently. And none of us tells it the same way twice. Because grandmothers looking like spiders want to enchant the children. And grandfathers need to convince us what happened because of them. And though we listen only haphazardly with one ear, we will begin our story with the word and. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being the creative geniuses that you all are. And we look forward to working with you again soon.
Hey there guys, how's it going today? Wow, we are in the final week, aren't we? That is insane. I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in every day, every week, doing our theater exercises with us, hearing all of our lectures, doing our fun Friday freestyles with us all. This has been so much fun. I can't stress that enough. So, for this video this week, I actually wanted to run down a list of books that actually helped me out so much in my younger years of acting, and even a couple books now that I just discovered that are doing wonders for me even today. So I just wanted to share a couple of these books with you, and for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, how many ever more weeks that you're going to be inside. These are some nice fun books that will be amazing to read, but also very entertaining to read. So the first book that I have set, The Acting Bible. Now, this has been, when I discovered it, a legit Bible for me. I believe I bought this book in like 2012, 2013, but pretty much gives a basic rundown on the technique of acting. It gives some physical and dynamic like stretches and warm-ups to get your body prepared as an actor. It talks about vocal warm-ups, how you can strengthen your voice as an actor. Legit, whatever you can think of to perfect your craft, this book has it all. So definitely check it out. It's called The Acting Bible by Michael Powell. This other book, very small, kind of bite-sized, almost like a Proverbs kind of book. It's called True Acting Tips by Larry Silverberg. Larry Silverberg. So I got this book right after senior year of high school, and literally, like a Proverbs book, just kind of one-page little nuggets of wisdom on acting and how to make your acting better, how to keep yourself from being handcuffed on stage or in film. This book taught me a lot. One takeaway that I definitely got from this book is the thread of connection between yourself and your partner on stage, and just how important that thread is, and how if that's cut, if you disconnect in any way, the entire scene kind of subtly starts to crumble at that point. If you can see that string get cut, the audience can see that string of connection get cut. So that was definitely one of the things that I took away with me, that I still use even to this day. Whenever I feel myself get disconnected, it's always, is that thread still attached? So that plus many other amazing tips in this book. So definitely check it out. Larry Silverberg. Now, this is a book that I discovered on our recent trip to LA. I believe it was this past summer in August. October maybe, if I'm really stretching. I don't even remember what I had for breakfast last week. Anyway, so this is a book that I got during my most recent trip in LA. I found this little guy in Studio City. It was inside of a Barnes & Noble that was like decked out inside of this super old movie theater. It was so cool. But a local acting teacher, Ivana Chubbuck, local for the LA area. She has her own studio in LA. I believe it's called the Chubbuck Technique, or the Chubbuck Studio. And she actually wrote a book called The Power of the Actor. And it's a 12-step technique program that centers around just strengthening your emotional connection, your relationship with your partner or whoever you're in scene with. It helps you kind of find those moments of fighting for your life and what that actually means. It gets very deep. I would recommend this for my actors that have a good few years under their belt. This really dives into the psychology of acting a little bit. But it's done wonders for me. Like I said, I just recently got this, but I've been applying bits and pieces of this technique in my recent work, and it's just chef's kiss. Such a big fan of this so far, and I still refer to it even now. I should. I mean, I just got it. So yeah, The Power of the Actor by Ivana Chubbuck. Give that a read. And another personal book of mine that isn't an acting book, but it's a good history lesson book. Queen Meryl. I acquired this book a few months ago at Barnes & Noble. It not only goes through the life of Meryl Streep, but also the trials and tribulations that she had to go throughout her life in picking the roles that she wanted to do, that she wanted to do justice for, kind of changing the perspective and the viewpoint that women had in film at that point. She was a real trailblazer in creating more depth for those roles and making them more three-dimensional than how they were portrayed even years back. Homegirl's a pioneer. I read this and it took a couple weeks to read through. It looks like a quick read, but you know, before everything happened, running around, cracking out every few chapters when I could. But man, every time I opened this book, I was just inspired. I wanted to work more. I wanted to go and see what else I could try to find, whether it be looking for auditions or looking for my next class. Every time I open this book up, immediate inspiration. And I know for a fact, Queen Meryl can do the same for you. So definitely check out this book. But yeah, that is my summer quarantine reading list of acting books. I mean, again, it sounds like, really, Eldridge, you're giving us a list of books to read as the final theater exercise video? Guys, trust me when I tell you that this is like a good 25, if not 40% of my process is reading stuff like this and being inspired from it and being more motivated to be better in what I'm doing and to be the best version of myself in the next project that I'm going to be in. This right here is about, like I said, 25 to 40% of the work is doing your homework, making yourself more knowledgeable, educating yourself as an actor. That sounds weird to say almost, arts and education, but they mix, and they mix very, very well. Artists constantly have to keep educating themselves, and they never stop learning. Never stop learning, guys. Stay safe and stay creative.